Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's me, Michael. Today we'll be doing our very first FNAF theory, and this video has taken me longer than any other project I've done has before, so I'm excited to get into this video and discuss what I found and what I consider to be the story of Help 1 and 2. Now this is going to be a little complicated, so I'm just going to go with the story, and I'll give some facts on where I think this story is going, or where the FNAF franchise is going in whole, and how Help 1 and 2 contributes to the overall story. So, I'm not going to waste your time. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get straight in to the actual story of Help 1 and 2. Okay, so the story of Help 1 and 2 actually starts long before we get to Help 1 and 2. This story begins in FNAF 4 and the little 8-bit minigames you get before every night. Now, if you aren't familiar with these minigames are more of like a slideshow of the story of a crying child and his brother, Michael Afton, as well as his friends who kind of bully and pick on the kid who is scared of the animatronics. Now, the conclusion of this story is Michael putting his little brother, which is often known as the crying child, into the mouth of Fredbear, which is a animatronic, which actually ends up crushing him and killing his little brother. Now, this is really traumatic for not only Michael, but as well as his friends. Specifically, one friend, the Bonnie-wearing kid. Now, each friend of Michael's wears a mask in the Bite of 83 minigame, and specifically Foxy, which is Michael Afton, and Bonnie, which is Cassie's dad. Now, this is really important, as Cassie's dad, who has now led to the death of a young child, is scarred. He's traumatized from what he's done. And this makes sense, as anyone in a situation would be just as messed up or traumatized. So this is where Cassie's dad's story begins. Now, after this, Cassie's dad is really messed up and scarred from what he's done. So he wants to make things better. He wants to make things right for this innocent life that he's ended. So he eventually finds out, not quite sure how, about William Afton, or maybe even Michael Afton, maybe he's mad at him, about how something evil was going on at this place. So this leads him to either becoming a technician or just some kind of job, maybe even sneaking in to the sister location bunker. Now you're asking, how do I know he's at sister location? How did I know he went there? Well, if you can remember the Help 1 and 2 starting screen, if you want to call it that, you'll see a computer, right? And the computer is made up of game files. Every game file is every game you can play, like every little mini game. But most importantly, there are the Helpy minigames and sister location minigames, which don't really make sense with where the story's at now, because why would we bring up sister location and FNAF 6 if they aren't where the current story is? And not to bring anything up, but FNAF 2 and FNAF 1, even FNAF 3, aren't mentioned at all in these. So why are sister location and FNAF 6 more important? Well, it's because these files are actually video files, right? Vanessa, or Vanny, or Glitchtrap, depending on who you want to call it, has collected these video files over the years on Cassie's dad. Cassie's dad has come very close to finding out the secrets and horrors that Fazbear Entertainment is responsible for. So, Glitchtrap, wanting to stop this, has made this computer of video files of Cassie's dad. So when you're actually clicking those files and we're playing those games, we're actually watching videotape of Cassie's dad doing those things. So, going back to the story, Cassie's dad is upset about, being responsible for the death of the crying child. So he ends up either as a technician or sneaking in or even another way into the FNAF 6 location. And this leads us to the several minigames we see in FNAF 6, specifically the Valor game, Freddy's game with the microphone, and he might even return after Michael's scooping, as we see entered, as this one only makes sense. So we know that Cassie's dad was at the sister location place. But no matter what, since even Michael himself failed to do what he was supposed to do, he ends up leaving sister location. He returns to FNAF 6, most likely saying that the Fazbear brand had come back after its failure of Fazbear Frights over the years. So he wants to make sure that it stays dead, right? He's still upset, and he feels like it's his duty to make sure the evils of Fazbear stay dead. So he goes to this FNAF 6 location, and most likely gets a job there, probably security. We see him do this with the helping mini games, where we see Lefty, Pig Patch, and Scrap Baby, which are all animatronics from FNAF 6. He's most likely doing the day shift, or maybe even the night shift, while Michael is performing the other shift during FNAF 6. Now, we know in Henry's speech, Henry specifically says this line: "Job listing not intended for you." I'm proposing that Cassie's dad was the spot proposed for him. It wasn't proposed for Michael, it was proposed for Cassie's dad. You see, Henry said he left the spot for the security guard to leave. Michael chooses staying because he wants to die with everyone else, and his family, his sister, his dad, and even his brother. So he wants to end the story there. But the job listing was intended for Cassie's dad. Henry most likely saw that Cassie's dad had been at these other locations and was trying to put a stop to this, so he intended for him to be at this FNAF 6 location, and that's why he left an exit for Cassie's dad to leave. But it ended up being Michael, and that was the end of the story for a while, until Security Breach. Now, once the Mega Pizzaplex was created, Cassie's dad, again, vowing to make sure Fazbear Entertainment ceased forever, returned to the place, working again as a technician at the Pizzaplex. And most likely, Glitchtrap, or Vanny as you want to call it, maybe it's most likely Vanessa under Glitchtrap control, went to Cassie's dad and offered to help him stop the evils of Fazbear, as she was also employed there. This led Cassie's dad to trust her and wanted her help, because obviously, why would you not want someone's help? So he takes her help, which leads him to finding the FNAF 6 location under the Pizzaplex. Now, this most likely takes place after Security Breach, because we are now catching up to Help 1 and 2. Help 1 and 2, if you didn't know, takes place in between Security Breach, when Gregory takes the place down, and Ruin, when Cassie returns. As we know, Cassie's dad is missing at the time of her placement in Ruin, and we know that Cassie's dad gives Roxy a mask, which changes her facial features in Ruin, so this has to be in between. Also, Cassie's dad sees the Ruin animatronics, so that means that he returns with Vanny's help after Gregory's attempts to destroy the place in Security Breach. So, Cassie's dad, with the help of Vanny, returns to the place, and Vanny leads him to the basement of the Pizzaplex, which, if you know, is where the FNAF 6 location is buried. Now, Cassie's dad thinks this is great. He sees the Princess Quest 4 arcade machine, and most likely believing this is the way to end it, he goes into the machine, like we see in the game. But what he doesn't know is this is actually a trap, and his consciousness is converted into the game. As you know, by Ruin's canon ending, we think that Vanessa is set free by Gregory defeating the first 3 Princess Quest games. But what we don't know is that there's a 4th game, which we now learn in Help 1 and 2. So, while Gregory might have beaten the first 3 Princess Quest games, Vanessa is not free of Glitchtrap. She is still being taken over by him, which we know Cassie's dad is trying to finish by beating the Princess Quest 4. But Vanessa knew about this, so she, under Glitchtrap control, trapped Cassie's dad inside the game, as she's also trapped in there as well. Now, since they're both trapped in there, we get to Ruin, where the story is now at, and is left. But it's important to note that the first ending, which we see Cassie getting handed the Vanny or Technician mask, is given to it by a bot. Now, either this is Glitchtrap or the Mimic giving her the mask to help her release the Mimic, or it's her dad trying to help her survive through this ruined Pizzaplex, as he knows he failed. So, this is my finished timeline of what Help Wanted 2 actually is. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more theories like this, comment down below what you actually think is happening in Help Wanted 2. What I got right, what I got wrong, or what could have possibly also be the answer to Help Wanted 2. Because as you know, FNAF is kind of complicated. Well, anyways, I'll leave it there, and if you like these videos, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it, and thank you so much for the view. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.